What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we've got some Giants news to cover. I'm going to be doing a couple of these videos once news kind of comes out at the same time, so I could clump things together and we could discuss it, talk about it, all that good stuff. So before I start the video, if you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Make sure to also hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, so there's a couple news to go over. I want to first start off with Davis Webb, former quarterback, former third-round pick of the New York Giants in 2017. He is now a New York Jet. He stays in MetLife Stadium. He gets to keep his house. Quoted by him. Davis Webb to the Jets. To me, I think the Jets made the right move, and I'm going to say why it's not really good for Davis Webb, even though he said it's a good move for him. And I get he gets to keep his house. He doesn't have to move anywhere. He comes to work. He's going to work at the same place, so pretty much the same place. He'll be at the same stadium. But as far as the Jets go, this is a great move. They have a future starter there in their practice squad. I know Davis Webb is going to start one day with some kind of team, whether he has a career like a Josh McCown or a Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's somewhere where I see Davis Webb, and maybe he could be even more than that. Maybe he could be better than those guys. But Davis Webb definitely has NFL talent. He deserves to be in this league, and I think the Jets made the right move. You know, they have Josh McCown on the roster right now. They've got Sam Darnold, their future of the franchise, their franchise quarterback. That segues myself. I segue myself into that conversation there. Sam Darnold is the future at quarterback for the New York Jets. Davis Webb really is not going to have anything to do there but learn from Sam Darnold, learn from Josh McCown, and that's pretty much what he was pointing out of why he wanted to come here. He really did not say in the interview at all in that interview, and it makes sense of him playing as a New York Jet. Odds are he probably will never play a snap as a New York Jet. But the thing is, that's the problem. He's gonna be wasting precious time, with becoming a player in the NFL, becoming a starter in the NFL. Granted, he will be able to learn under Sam Darnold, learn under Josh McCown, but I don't think it's the right move for him. Maybe that's the only offer he got. Maybe with the Jets calling, he just had to pull the trigger because he didn't know if he will have a job again in the NFL, and that's completely understandable. Take what you can get, but to me, I would love to see Davis Webb somewhere in Jacksonville, because Blake Bortles is pretty much on his way out, so he can compete for that starting role there with whoever else shows up in that quarterback group coming next year, because I don't think Blake Bortles, I honestly, did Blake Bortles get re-signed? I'm not sure, but I don't know if they took his 5th-year option either. So on top of that, another team I would like to see him go to is Washington. Alex Smith is just pretty much there to fill in a role until Washington could find themselves a quarterback, and I wouldn't mind Davis Webb going out there and competing for a future role there at quarterback for Washington. You look at another team, the Oakland Raiders. Now, I know Derek Carr has, that huge contract and all that, but Oakland needs some backup quarterbacks. They have A.J. McCarron back there, and if Davis Webb were to take that opportunity to learn under a few quarterbacks, I think learning under Derek Carr and A.J. McCarron is a better situation than you learning under Sam Darnold and Josh McCown. I just like Derek Carr and A.J. McCarron much better. Plus, I think those are the only 2 quarterbacks on the roster so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. Davis Webb could sneak his way on to the 53-man roster and actually suit up for games and go to these games instead of just being on the practice squad like he is with the New York Jets. But with all that being said, this is about Giants news. Davis Webb is now a Jet. Best of luck to Davis Webb. I honestly didn't want to see him go in that way. I wanted him to stay on this roster, even though I like Kyle Lauletta much better. I did want him to stay on this roster and compete a little bit more, kind of help him and Lauletta grow together as quarterbacks. But with all that being said, best of luck to Davis Webb. Now on to the Giants news, the real Giants news. Yesterday, you guys seen that the Giants have cut Romeo Okwara, outside linebacker, former free agent, undrafted free agent for the New York Giants a couple of years ago. And I actually really like Romeo Okwara. I think he's very underrated in this league, and I'm very saddened to see him go. We didn't even think about putting him on the practice squad. He's about to clear waivers right now. We waived him and he's not on the practice squad, and we already have 10 guys now, and I'll get into that 10th guy in just a second. So Romeo Okwara, he has been cut to make room for a defensive tackle with John Jenkins. This guy is coming into I believe his 6th season in the NFL. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's 29 years old, 6'3", 327 pounds, a nose tackle from the Chicago Bears, and he's going to be backing up Damon Snacks Harrison. I was wondering who was going to be that guy to kind of, fill in that void just in case Damon Harrison were to go down, because Dalvin Tomlinson could fill in that role, but he's playing his own position. He's starting in his own position, so that's just not going to work out. So my question has been answered. The Giants have signed John Jenkins. Now, here's the question. Is Robert Thomas any worse than John Jenkins? What is it that Dave Gettleman did not like in Robert Thomas? Remember, Robert Thomas is a former Carolina Panther. You guys know Dave Gettleman has been trying to make this the New York Panthers for quite a while now, and it's kind of questionable to see Robert Thomas go. He probably did the most out of any of the defensive players in the preseason. Had himself 2 sacks and a couple of tackles for loss and things like that. He was very productive in the preseason, so I'm not quite sure why we let go of Robert Thomas. We're never going to get any explanation, so the world may never know. But lo and behold, we do have John Jenkins. Now, I believe he has 2 sacks in his career. Not really much to show for anything. He really hasn't done anything in this league. But I hear that he's going to be a pretty good, he is a decent backup nose tackle. So I guess we're going to have to give him a shot, right? So moving on from that, the Giants have also cut, besides Romeo Okwara, has also cut running back Robert Martin, the free agent running back out of Rutgers. Now, I was expecting something like this to happen. I did not expect the Giants to keep four running backs on the roster. I think Robert Martin was pretty expendable, and I knew that the Giants were still making moves, so he was one of the guys I was looking at to be cut. One of these expendable guys to bring another guy onto the team. So Robert Martin, best of luck to you, my friend. It sucks to see that, you got your hopes high. You made the NFL roster on your first try in the NFL. You're a rookie, and you're an undrafted free agent, and then they just cut you like that. But we'll see what happens with you. I'm not sure if they signed you on to the practice squad. I'll have to check. But anyway, moving on with Robert Martin being cut, the Giants have signed inside linebacker Nate Stupar, formerly of the New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons and San Francisco 49ers and Jacksonville Jaguars, going in his 6th year into the NFL. He is 6'2", 240 pounds. He is an inside linebacker for, in any scheme, really. He's going to be an inside linebacker. I think he played 4-3 inside linebacker at New Orleans, and now he's going to be playing 3-4 inside linebacker for the New York Giants. So what does that mean? Before we get into Nate Stupar, what does that mean? The Giants now have 5 inside linebackers, which is kind of questionable, especially with how much other voids that we need to fill in much more roster spots for like cornerback, for instance. We need better corners and stuff. So, but we have 5 inside linebackers, so I don't understand that. But the Giants, I guess, are trying to get something going in the special teams game, because if you guys notice, the bottom portion of that depth chart for the inside linebackers are highlighted by really good special teams players like Tay Davis and like Nate Stupar. Nate Stupar is one of these standout special teams players that you will find in the NFL. Has himself about 42 tackles just on special teams alone. And you know what? He's actually not very much of a bad player as well. Nate Stupar, just last week against the Rams, had himself one of his best games in the preseason, really. He had himself one forced fumble, not a forced fumble, he had a fumble recovery. He had himself a pretty good interception where he had to read the actual quarterback and had to make a play on the ball. Had a really good interception. Unfortunately, it was batted out, and then he fumbled the ball, but still he had himself a good interception. He also had himself a good blitzing sack, and he also had himself a couple really good tackles. So I like what I see from Nate Stupar, and I like the depth that we have with him. I want somebody, if you're really gonna bring somebody on that knows how to play special teams, and you're signing him for that reason, I expect that player to know how to play his actual position as well. I haven't seen that from Tay Davis. Haven't seen him on the field as a linebacker as much, probably at all. I haven't seen him at all, to be honest. But Nate Stupar really has made himself known as an actual inside linebacker, so I like what I see there from Nate Stupar. I'm actually pretty excited about Nate Stupar. Don't really know too much about John Jenkins. I really hope we would have kept Robert Thomas. But if we look at the practice squad now for the Giants, you guys know that the Giants have on the practice squad Will Davis, Garrett Dickerson, Grant Haley, Jarrell Presley, Alonzo Russell, Victor Salako, Avery Moss, and Calvin Munson. The Giants have also signed Ikumi Eligwe. I don't know how to say it. Okay, Ikumi Eligwe. That is a linebacker from Kansas City that was cut, that a lot of people said that should have made the roster. So I guess we got some good value there. And then the Giants have also signed Josh Banks, who was recently cut from the 53-man roster onto the practice squad. Quick note about Nate Stupar. A lot of these Saints fans are mad that the Saints have cut Nate Stupar, so that excites me a little bit, just because that one team wanted him on their 53-man roster, and now we have him on our 53-man roster, so I'm pretty happy about that. So we have some good depth in Nate Stupar. We should be excited about that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys like do you guys like the transactions we made so far in cutting Robert Martin and Romeo Okwara and signing Jenkins and Stupar? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.